This morning, I got a comment on my video of that I put out this morning from Robert that I am the king of hyperbole, meaning that I exaggerate and that I blow things up into disproportion. And I wrote back to Robert that says more about him than it does about me, because I think the reality is what I talked to you about yesterday in the realm of synthetic knowledge and how it was going to change the world, much as how synthetic energy changed the world. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. In fact, the reality is, if anything, I'm behind the eight ball. I don't know as much as of Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Sam Altman. I don't know as much as they do. I'm just connecting the dots. And if anything, I'm missing the ball by a lot. There's a lot more to it than I believe. I believe, again, to reiterate, that we are at the verge of accessing synthetic knowledge, and that this is going to change the world that we live in. The question I have is, how are we going to access this, and how is it going to be monetized, and what's fair and what's not? And to get an answer to that, I look at how the big titans are approaching it, because again, I believe Sam Altman understands this better than me. I believe that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg understand it better than me. They have dug much deeper than I have, and right now the decision is being made: how are we going to charge Kerry for this synthetic knowledge that we're going to make available to him, that is going to change his life, much as it changed the life of a caveman when he discovered fire, and then ultimately, thousands of years later, discovered energy, electricity, and oil, and now he's discovered synthetic knowledge. How are we going to monetize that? Is it a commodity? Is it a utility? Or is it something in between? And if we can figure that out, we can figure out who's going to make the money off of the biggest change in the world since the caveman discovered fire. Who's going to monetize this, and how are they going to monetize it? This is something, and I suspect you haven't thought about. How is it going to be monetized, and how are the camps being set up? We have a camp that believes it's going to be a product that they can sell, and I would say that's Tesla, Elon Musk, that's Mark Zuckerberg, and no, I don't believe it is Mark. It's Google, it's Microsoft, and it's OpenAI, and this new program that they've put out. And so I believe they believe that they'll be able to charge you for a monthly fee for you accessing all the knowledge in the world. But I think there's another camp that says, no, that belongs to Kerry and his ancestors. They created this knowledge, much as it's not right that you charge him for water other than what it costs you to deliver it to him and maintain the delivery system, because it was here when we all arrived. No one owns it. And I think there is a camp that believes that is how this synthetic knowledge is going to be distributed. I believe the king of that camp right now is Apple, because Apple's not building data centers. They're not saying, I'm going to charge you $19.95 a month to access this knowledge that you and your ancestors created over the past centuries. I believe Apple's in that camp. And then I think there's a hybrid camp that is controlled by the open source, and that's Meta and this DeepSeek right now. I believe they see it as a open source means that it's a hybrid. What I think will eventually happen, though, is I think the Googles and the Microsofts, the people who want to sell it as a product, much as Netflix sells us movies as a product for $19.95 a month, I believe those are going to be the people who win. And I think what will happen is they will come into a collusion that says Kerry wants access to data relative to the financial markets, and Apple owns some, and Google owns some, and Microsoft owns some, we'll come into a collective and charge him for it through his use of an agent. And the word agent is really the key to all this, because that's how it's going to end up on my desk, in my house, in my car, through an agent. Now, understand what an agent is. You have agents today. You have a doctor. He's an agent who gives you access to the knowledge he has. You have an accountant who does your taxes, and he's an agent who gives you access to the knowledge he has. And you pay him a fee for that knowledge, or her a fee. And so you have a whole array of agents. Maybe you have a travel agent. What's going to happen is you're going to have an agent that you access through your computer or your device that helps you achieve tasks that you want to achieve. In my case, to make better investment decisions, to gather the data that happened in the last 24 hours on all the stocks in the world, digest it, regurgitate it in a format that I can understand to help me make better decisions. Okay? Again, the doctor is there to help you make better decisions. That's exactly what the agent will be there for, is to help you make better decisions. What we as investors are trying to sort out, or at least I am, Robert, he don't give a shit, because he's not, he doesn't think that big. He just lives in his little world. So, but I don't. I want to get ahead of this. I want to get inside Mark's head. I want to get inside Elon's head and say, who's going to deliver this to me, and where do I have the ability to make the most money? And I think it's through the agent. And now I also know that agent won't work unless he's got access to compute, and he's got access to GPUs that can sort through all this massive amounts of data and deliver it to me in a format that helps me make better investment decisions, or accounting decisions, or medical decisions, or whatever. I believe that I'm going to have a number of agents. I may have one agent with one specialty, and I'll pay $19.95 a month for that. Now, the beauty of that agent is he or she will become a teammate. And that agent will learn from me as I learn from him or her, and we will grow together. We will grow as one as our knowledge base increases to make better investment decisions. Now, the other thing that I think will happen is I'll be able to say, hey, I want to have an agent as a concierge who books my restaurants and my cruises and my travel and my flights and all that. And so I'll have an add-on, okay? And this will be, maybe Samantha's my main agent, and then maybe Gladys will show up only on demand, and she'll be an agent, and maybe she'll charge me on a, rather than a monthly basis, on an hourly basis. But I will have access to these agents through the big tech companies. So I got to own them. But on the other hand, I think there's going to become some specialties. It's like Nita said to me, well, what about this robot who's going to make the bed, make the coffee, cook the meals, and clean the house? Well, I think we'll pay $20,000 for that robot, but it will also be updated on a monthly basis, much as a Tesla car is, and I'll pay a fee for that agent to run my robot to make my life better. This is what we're dealing with right now. We're, again, when I say synthetic knowledge, think of synthetic energy. You see my energy that God gave me, okay? What you don't see is the energy that propels my car, the energy that lights those lights. That's synthetic energy. Now take that and convert that to synthetic knowledge. Now, if you didn't subscribe back there when I said it was time to, now is the time to make sure you subscribe, because you've never heard this before, and you'll probably never hear it again until you come back. Now, if you want total access, exchange, you need to show up at our stock meeting this afternoon at 3 Eastern Time, and then we'll carry on a conversation. This is a 2-hour meeting where I meet with my tribe, and we talk more in depth to this. That is accessible to you through our gold platform. Now, that I charge you $19.95. Why do I charge you for that? Because I have expenses. I access this knowledge on the 60 stocks that I follow now through data that is available to me at a fee through the internet. That's how I come to this knowledge. How did I come up with this synthetic knowledge? I read books. I read everything I can get my hands on that tells me the path of synthetic energy that is leading us to synthetic knowledge. You pay for things like that. You pay a doctor for his knowledge. You pay a dentist for his, an accountant for his. Why wouldn't you pay me for my knowledge? Now, I know Robert. Robert says that's all hyperbole. It's all bullshit. I'm sorry, Robert, but I don't think you invested in NVIDIA back in 2020. I don't think you did, because I think you thought that Jensen was all hyperbole, that he lived in a world of fantasy. Okay, we know who Robert is. Now it's time for you to figure out who Kerry is. And do you want to be in his tribe? Do you want to be in his camp? Am I a salesman? Hell yes, I'm a salesman. I'm selling my knowledge. You now have to make a decision if it's worth $19.95 a month. And I'm so convinced you believe it, you will believe it is. I'll give it to you for free for 14 days. And then you either accept or you reject. It's up to you. Again, I've been around for 80 years. I have never, well, I've seen this opportunity before. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs presented it to me back in the 80s, but I wasn't smart enough. I was like Robert. I believed it was all hyperbole. There is no way that this World Wide Web is going to change my life. Come on. Robert, I was in your camp. But then maybe you, Robert, maybe you were, that's the age I was. Maybe in the 80s, I was the age you are, and I had the wisdom you possess today. Okay? I want to make peace with you, Robert. The reality is you have the opportunity of a lifetime. Whether you take it from me or someone else, I don't really give a shit. I got the money I need to finish out my life. But I want to make a difference. And if I can make a difference in your life, do not deny me that right. I'll talk to you more about this afternoon on our Stock Talk.